Whisky number 1. It started. The challenge has begun. If you hear any rustling in the background, that's my dog, who's just woken up and I'm now disturbing. Sorry, fella. And I'm speaking quite quietly because we've just put the kids up to bed, and my eldest is directly above this room. So I've got a little microphone, and I'm hoping that it's going to be a good enough microphone that you can actually hear me. Harley, that's not helping. I'm the one supposed to be drinking, not you. Wait. Sorry about this. He's going to want to play now and all sorts. So yeah, I'm hoping that the microphone is loud enough that it'll pick me up speaking quietly, but I'm not going to disturb them and keep them awake. So, whiskey number 1, which is Cardhu. Here it is, in a bottle. Now, you're probably thinking, yeah, right, Ben, you just put any old shit in a bottle and you're pretending it's what you're actually drinking. So I'm going to put a picture up now, which is from my father-in-law's house. It's his birthday today, which is why I'm also tasting this, so happy birthday, Chris. That's how I always remember when his birthday is, because it's Burns night. And he was actually given this for Christmas by my brother-in-law, his son Carl. He normally gets a couple of bottles of whiskey every Christmas, and by middle of January it's probably gone, so we were quite lucky to actually get some of this. I've got a really bad reflection in my glasses, I do apologise about this. Anyway, so this is it. Oh shit, I forgot the jigger. Can't have it without the jigger. Bear with me. There we go. Because this is what I need to use to measure my 25cl. So here it is going in there. So Cardhu is Speyside Single Malt. I will also be, as I pour this, I'll put a little map up of where it is in Scotland, so you can see me pouring it in. Good, I didn't pour it right over the counter. Cardhu, Single Malt from Speyside. Put the map up there now, which is showing you where it is in relation to the rest of Scotland. This reflection's really bugged me, I do apologise. It's right in the heart of what's considered the Speyside region, which is well known for probably the biggest brands in Scotch whisky. Macallan's from there, Balvenie, Glenfiddich, you name it. It's the most popular in terms of drinkers for whisky as well. It's Gaelic for black rock. That's what Cardhu means, and it's owned by Diageo, massive company that I've worked for previously. And it's, as a single malt, it was the biggest selling single malt in Spain. And for a while, basically, Diageo couldn't keep up with the popularity of it. So in 2003, they decided to basically not have it as a single malt and do it as a blended malt. So they were using single malts from other distilleries that they owned, but essentially kept the label the same and were sneaky about it and sort of hoodwinked a lot of people who thought it was still the same thing, but it wasn't. Cardhu is also quite a large proportion of Johnny Walker blended whiskey, so black label, red label, etc. This is a pain in the arse. I'm going to do something about it on the next video. So they needed a lot of Cardhu because they needed, Johnny Walker's not exactly a small selling product. So Diageo went, right, do you know what? We're not going to sell Cardhu as a single malt. We'll sell it as a blended malt so that people can still buy Cardhu, but then we've got more stock to be able to use for Johnny Walker. Drinkers kicked up a fuss. A lot of traditionalists went, oi, Diageo, what the hell do you think you're doing? So they then relaunched it as a single malt. This particular one that I've got here is the Cardhu Gold Reserve, which you can find in the UK. Cardhu is normally quite difficult to find because it's so popular over in Spain and Portugal predominantly. And when I was working at the whisky shop, we had loads of people coming in asking for it because they'd had it on holiday or they'd brought it back with them in duty free. You could only get it in duty free, but you could never get it over here. Now you can find it in supermarkets. You're looking at about 40 quid a bottle. So this particular one is the Gold Reserve, which is unaged. The standard bottling is a 12-year-old, but the unaged means that it's got some younger whiskies in and some older ones to balance it out. It just means that they can, essentially, they've got more stock to play around with. They're not just limited to 12-year-old stock. You can have some older ones in, but 12-year-old will be the youngest. This means that they can use some younger whiskies and just essentially keep churning it out because it's that popular. So, the official tasting notes, which I'm going to read for you now, is rich and mellow with warm notes of baked apple and toffee, which is intriguing. And if you were, a casual whiskey drinker, for want of a better word, and you saw that on the back, then you'd probably be quite tempted by it. So, it is very warming. It's there is a bit of toffee apple in there actually, which is quite surprising. But yeah, doesn't burn. It's standard 40%. It's not too harsh. It's very smooth. It's very classically Speyside, which is sort of like toffee-ish and smooth and caramel and everything like that. And yeah, it carries on that. It's totally inoffensive. It doesn't really have a lot of mouthfeel. There's not a great deal to it. It's kind of there. It's nice, it's soft, and then it just disappears. There's no burn at the back of your throat, but there's no after flavour as well. There's very little there that's afterwards. But there's nothing wrong with it. Yeah, it's all there in the mouth, straight away. But as soon as you swallow, or like 10 seconds later, it's pretty much gone. And there's really not much of an aftertaste. There's that nice warming, kind of generic whiskey feel in your mouth. You've been drinking whiskey, there's a slight burn on your tongue, but it's very soft. It's very inoffensive. Whether it's worth 40 quid, I don't really know. There's nothing wrong with it, and 40 quid is going to get you a bottle that pretty much everybody is probably going to like. But there's nothing particularly outstanding to it. There's still plenty left. I didn't think 25 cl, 25 mil, 25 cl, if only 25 mil was going to be that much, but I've still got some left. It's decent. There's nothing wrong with it. It's absolutely fine. It's not pulling up trees. It's not wowing me, but it's not horrible. Generally, all right. If you're looking for a whiskey that's just going to go down quite easily, which is probably why my father-in-law really likes it, and I'm amazed there's still some left because he would have been drinking this by the pint. If you're looking for a really easy drinking whiskey, if you're wanting to give it to a present for somebody and you don't want them to be offended and you don't want to take any risks whatsoever, it'll do the job. It'll do the job. Yeah. Hey, look, that's number one down. Only 365 to go. It's a decent start. Let's see what happens with the next one. And next time I will try and get this bloody reflection out of my glasses. Alright, see you next time.